Hello and welcome back into the journey right here on WCTV. I'm Riley Holsinger, and today we'll have a story about fish fries, an interview with Waynesburg University Chaplain Josh Sumter, and my word of encouragement. So sit back and relax because you're watching The Journey.
You're watching WCTV, where we aim to bring you the best local coverage of what you care about most. Everything from local businesses to hometown sports and the latest weather. We're keeping up to date with what you need to know about issues that affect our campus and our community. We're telling the stories that matter, celebrating our past, our future, and our potential. So tune in for all the latest buzz right here on WCTV Channel 14, Waynesburg.
Fish Fry Fridays have become a tradition and staple into the Lenten season as some abstain from eating meat on Fridays. Our very own Austin Bechtold is one of those people that loves to attend fish fries. He covered a story about fish fries right here on The Journey.
Hi everyone, we are back for year 3 of Fish Fry Friday reviews. I'm Austin Bechtold, very pleased to be here for another year. This has been basically my calling card throughout college, from Robert Morris, now to Waynesburg. We're here at the Hive in Waynesburg, Pennsylvania, on the campus of the college, here to try out the fish. First fish fry review is I've been getting a couple interviews earlier this year. Now we're trying out the fish. So I got my water, I got my fish sandwich, as you can see, and I also got my French fries as well. Thanks to Tyler Zeman as my cameraman. And let's try out the fish. First fish of the year. Let's give it a go. Always try out with the school's cafeteria fish first. You know, to be honest, I'm not sure if my expectations were very high coming into it, but this fish exceeded my expectations. You know, you don't really get the size of the fish that maybe you'd get at a traditional fish fry or anywhere else that you may go. But the quality is there on this fish. I'm going to rank it a solid 7. The fish at the Beehive gets a solid 7. If it was a bigger fish, it'd get about a 7.5. You could probably swing 6.5, 7. But I'm going to say solid 7. Also my favorite number for the fish here at the Beehive. Make sure to check it out. And also, go Heels.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the final Fish Fry Friday review of the 2022 Lenten season. I'm Austin Bechtold here at my home parish of Blessed Trinity here at St. Albert the Great's Fish Fry. No Holy Angels this year, which has been my #1 fish fry of all time in the Pittsburgh area. But nonetheless, St. Albert's fish also very good. I got the fish, and I also have the French fries and also a water here today, as it is Good Friday in the city of Pittsburgh and throughout the entire world for the faith. And we're going to try out this fish for the final time this year. Fish review, having to come back where I started this year with a couple of interviews this year, and I was able to get double the fish layered on top of each other. So let's see how it tastes. Very quality fish this year, and it's not just saying that because I've already had it 5 times this year. I really like the fish this year at St. Albert's. There was at first the thought that maybe there would be a problem being able to get the fish here, but it's been nothing but a success. Talking to multiple different people this year, a lot of the parishioners, the pastor, Father Steve Kresak, everybody's really enjoying this fish, and also just the fish fry season in general. Not being biased, but the fish gets a solid 8.5. And again, not because I've had that 5 times already. Every fish might differ just a little bit in terms of maybe percentage points, depending on the day. Today, 8.5 on Good Friday. I'm Austin Bechtold. Thanks for following along this entire year, and have a good Easter.
Well, thank you, Austin. Waynesburg University Chaplain Josh Sumter will join me when we come back. As promised, Waynesburg University Chaplain Josh Sumter is joining me right here on The Journey. And it's been about a year since I've interviewed you. The last time we had an interview right here on The Journey, it was around Easter time. And the world, as I mentioned a little bit before this interview, certainly a different place. Last time we were in your office, both had masks on. There were still a lot of restrictions around the world. So it must be nice at least getting back to a little bit more normalcy.
Yeah, well, thank you for hosting me, Riley. It is a joy to be on campus with these students and have opportunities to be present once again, both in programming and relationships in the office and the chapel, and just getting back into doing what we do here at Waynesburg University.
And then the Easter season looming around, or at least coming to an end very soon here. And obviously Easter, a very important holiday. When we talk about the religious holidays, Easter and Christmas is two of the main ones that everybody focuses their eyes on. So how important is Easter to you in your eyes?
Well, I mean, it's everything, right? If we go back to the New Testament, it's the starting place for every conversation that they're having after Jesus is crucified and resurrects from the dead. That's what Peter attests to. That's what Paul is a witness to and attests to. All of the early apostles talk about the death and resurrection of Jesus. And there's so many things that you could be talking about. And you mentioned Christmas. And throughout church history, in the first 4 centuries, everybody, their starting place in talking about Jesus is Easter, that Jesus is rose from the dead. And for me, it's of utmost importance because it means that Jesus is the living King. Jesus is the eternal one who has victory even over death itself.
And just talking a little bit more about the holiday, and maybe a lot of people maybe not know the full reason on why we celebrate Easter. A lot of people, when they hear those holidays like Easter and Christmas, they think of the presents, they think of the Easter egg hunts and everything of that nature right there. So how would you best describe the Lenten season and Easter to those who maybe don't fully know what it all is about?
Yeah, obviously Jesus' sacrificial life culminating with his sacrificial death. It seems like the end of the story for Jesus as the Messiah, or as his disciples are following him, that their rabbi, their teacher, their leader, their king has died. And yet Easter we celebrate and say he is risen. This supernatural event that is unexplainable, right? That Jesus has risen from the dead is the truth that they've not only heard, but many of them witnessed. The tomb was empty, right? And we celebrate that. That Jesus is the one who's conquered the grave. And there's cosmic consequences because of that. The forgiveness of sin, that Jesus is still king, but Jesus is reconciling and reuniting both God and humanity, but even creation itself. And so, we celebrate that Jesus is risen.
And I kind of just mentioned it in that last question right there about how people kind of focus their eyes on like those Easter egg hunts and those Easter egg baskets and everything of that nature right there. Any special plans with your family to celebrate Easter now?
Well, my kids, there was already an Easter egg hunt in the park held by the Social Service League in Waynesburg. And so they were out going for eggs, and we have all this candy. And I heard that my daughter already brought home an Easter basket from school. And then, of course, my family will be attending church over the weekend and on Sunday, and there's lunch with family and a time to gather. Easter should be fun, but we need to recognize the bigger reason that we celebrate, which is Jesus.
Absolutely. And how easy do you think it is for people to kind of misconstrue their focus on the reason why we should be celebrating Easter, as you kind of have a little bit of other distractions in the way of what we're supposed to be focusing on?
Well, I think in the West especially, we become consumers in a lot of ways. We consume lots of things, and so companies recognize that even Christians or folks in our world they're consuming things. So let's market Easter, let's sell Easter, let's do candy and Easter eggs and all of these things, which are fun. It's fun, but it can be distracting. And so what does it look like for us to be participants in recognizing that Jesus has risen from the dead and participants in the kingdom of God, rather than just consumers, not only like consumers of just, this is a routine story, but also some of the things you describe of the world, right? And the items and the fun and games, and we miss out on that truth. And so, how do we hold that intention that we can celebrate and be people that have fun and do some of the Easter egg stuff, which there is some kind of Christian connection to some of those items and things like that. But keeping central what is true, which is Jesus is risen.
Exactly, and having a little bit of a background in youth ministry and everything, do you think that there's a potential or at least an impact that maybe celebrating those things that are a little bit aside from the reason but could kind of help kids growing up maybe get a focus on Easter and maybe at least help out with helping them learn a little bit more about the season?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we see post Jesus rising from the dead is this proclamation of the gospel. And sometimes we talk about the gospel and we talk about Jesus and it becomes routine and maybe even boring to kids. Like, I mean, Christians sometimes we lack enthusiasm, but Paul understood it as a royal announcement, a celebration, something that should be shouted and proclaimed, like we see songs of shouting things from the mountaintops, the rooftops. And I think of Easter, and I think of what that means for our church and what it means for Christians. And there is room for celebration and fun and joy. And I hope that children and young people and youth, as you describe, college students, adults alike, that we can gather around that theme of celebration.
And continuing with that theme of celebration, graduation looming quickly for a lot of seniors like myself and other seniors in the BMS department. So how great do you think it is that you're going to have and you're going to send off a lot of students from your department into the real world and hoping that they can make an impact and can kind of continue those teachings of Jesus?
Oh, amen. Yeah, it is really exciting, right? Our hope here is to equip students at Waynesburg University so that they can go out into the world and live lives of service, which is rooted in their faith, that they can take the teachings that we've just been talking about into the world so they can transform their communities and the world. And there's no greater fruit than that. As somebody that teaches here at Waynesburg University and journeys with students, is to see them go out into the world and make an impact. And my seniors in particular, but seniors across our campus community. I can't wait to see the way that God works through them, in them, and through others as the world changes because of graduates at Waynesburg University.
And at times it doesn't even need to be graduates here at Waynesburg either, because a lot of students will end up going to work summer camps this upcoming summer, especially with everything kind of at least lessened with COVID-19 restrictions and everything. So that has to be another great factor, as well as you have a lot of students kind of incorporating that faith, service, and learning mission that Waynesburg University has, and goes and dedicates their summer to these summer camps and everything to kind of, I guess, spread that message of the Lord.
Yeah, we have a great number of students here at Waynesburg University that they choose their summers, choose into serving over the summer. What you mentioned, summer camps or nonprofits, doing internships and ways that they can give back, ways that they can give their time, use their gifts, and it's exciting. If there are students that are looking for opportunities to serve, internships, summer camp counselor opportunities, lifeguarding opportunities, we have a number of camps that are still looking for young people, college students, to serve in that capacity. And so, camps, nonprofits, it's a blessing to see our students serve in that way.
What's that message that you'd give those students that are kind of a little bit on the fence if they should go and serve at one of these summer camps?
Yeah, if you want to grow and not be the same, go and serve at a summer camp. You will not be the same at the end of the summer. You're going to impact somebody else, or somebody else is going to impact you, and you will be out of your comfort zone and you will grow. And regardless of your major, it will shape you and change you. And I believe that obviously God is doing the shaping and the changing there, but camp is an incredible place for that formation to take hold.
And before we get to thinking about summer, we still have to think about the rest of the semester and everything. Still a lot of stressed out college students. So what would your message be to those college students that are struggling to get to that finish line and everything and kind of need an extra push and motivation?
Yeah, well, I would have said come to chapel on last Tuesday. Last Tuesday we just took time to pray, to imitate Jesus. Jesus prays. We want to become Christ-like. We need to be people that pray. And so we paused. There wasn't me teaching at them. It was just creating space for prayer. And a lot of that was just praying for one another, praying for the last couple weeks of the semester, praying for seniors, praying for finals, praying for faculty. But I would just encourage students to just take things one moment at a time. Sometimes we get so overwhelmed, we look at everything we have to do, and it just feels so overwhelming that maybe we don't do anything. And for students to just take a moment, grab a coffee, Start with one assignment at a time and just try to be present. Be present with people, be present with faculty, be present with assignments, and seek to honor God with the work that they do.
Absolutely. And then one final question right here for you on the journey. So what would your message be to those seniors that are getting ready to leave here at Waynesburg University in a couple weeks and look to continue to grow and continue to live with that message and that mission from here at Waynesburg with that faith, service, and learning?
Wow. I think just making that mission a part of real life. It's not compartmentalized. It becomes who you are. And so to wrestle with, who are you? How do you live a life of service, a life of that is informed by your faith and that leads to lifelong learning? I would just encourage students to take what they've learned both in the classroom and beyond the classroom and take that with them every single day as part of their journey.
Well, once again, thank you so much for joining myself right here on the journey. It's been a pleasure getting to know you and getting to interview you multiple times over the past couple of years. Yeah. And when we return here on the journey, I will have my word of encouragement.
Have you ever been to the Theeberly Library? If not, you should, because it's great. They have books of all different genres: history, biography, fiction. Try The Evolution of Life, Life of Pi, or Jurassic Park. So what if books aren't your thing? Try movies like Frozen, or TV shows like Lost. Books and DVDs aren't the only thing though. Take a trip to the second floor. Welcome to the Writing Center. These tutors will tell you everything you need to know about writing a paper, and they'll help revise your essays. Now let's head back down. Behold, the Knox Learning Center. Need to print something out 5 minutes before your next class because you procrastinated? No problem. You can also print off pictures of dogs. Because, well, you can. So grab your homework, laptop, and textbook, and study diligently. Bring your lunch too. Actually, you can't. That's illegal. Now you know the Theeberly Library. Stop by anytime. Seriously, it's open all week.
It is now time for my word of encouragement right here on WCTV. Every journey has its end. That's very fitting to mention since this is near the end of the episode or the end of the last journey episode of the year, or even just talking about graduation looming for those like myself. So often we're caught up in life with all the things that we have to do. We often don't realize there's a lot in our lives that we get to do though. With the gift of life, we're all provided with incredible opportunities in our day-to-day lives in making an impact in yours or someone else's life. With the mindset of having to do things, we often wish away valuable time that we have. We all look forward to the future on what's next or to get through a busy week. I'm not a golden child, none of us are. I've wished away plenty of busy weeks, plenty of times before. However, with graduation looming, it's made me more conscious of how fast life can just move on by. Feels like I moved into a human Thayer Hall the other day as a fearful, shy, and timid freshman. As I reach my final weeks here at Waynesburg University, I wish I would have appreciated my time more as a college student, but it's provided me with a learning point to appreciate life and even those things that we maybe even have to do at times. With wishing away time, we're wishing away valuable and limited time on this earth. Be thankful and grateful for all of your experiences you've had this far, whether if they're good or bad. Look to learn and grow from your mistakes as a person in your day-to-day life, and don't look back on your life regretting that you didn't appreciate it enough or that you spent most of it focused on work or the next thing moving forward. This is my final episode on the journey here on WCTV, and if you asked me if I'd host a religious show my freshman year here, I would probably tell you that there's no way that I would do that. Over time at Waynesburg, I've grown a lot in my faith and even as a person. I went from someone who is wildly inconsistent in my faith to someone that attends church every week in the course of over a year. You have an opportunity in your life to become stronger in your faith if you choose to do so and make it an effort and priority in your life. We're all blessed with a great gift in life, and it's what you do with that gift that matters. It's never about how you start, it's about how you finish. A special thank you to our producer Jared Weicker for his leadership in guiding the journey the past year and a half. I'm Riley Holsinger, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. For one last time here on the journey, for myself and the show this semester. Good night and God bless.
This has been a production of Waynesburg Community Television.